Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. We will continue. वाक़या चल रहा था हज़रत मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम की एब्सेंस में उनकी कौम को समीरी ने कैसे मिसलीड कर दिया. आयत नंबर 86 से हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे. So Moses returned to his people in a state of indignation and sorrow. He said, O my people, did not your Lord make a handsome promise to you? Did then the promise seem to you long in coming? Or did you desire that wrath should descend from your Lord on you? And so you broke your promise to me? They said, We broke not the promise to you, as far as lay in our power, but we were made to carry the weight of the ornaments of the whole people, and we threw them into the fire. And that was what the Samiri suggested. Then he brought out of the fire before the people the image of a calf. It seemed too low, so they said, This is your God and the God of Moses, but Moses has forgotten. Could they not see that it could not return them a word for answer, and that it had no power either to harm them or do them good? Aaron had already, Hazrat Harun alayhi salam had already before this said to them, O my people, you are being tested in this, for surely your Lord is Allah most gracious, so follow me and obey my command. They had said, We will not abandon his cult, but we will devote ourselves to it until Moses returns to us. Moses said, O Aaron, what kept you back when you saw them going wrong from following me? Did you then disobey my order? Aaron replied, O son of my mother, seize me not by my beard nor by the hair of my head. Truly I feared lest you should say, You caused a division among the children of Israel, and you did not respect my word. Moses said, What then is your case, O Samiri? He replied, I saw what they saw not. So I took a handful of dust from the footprint of the messenger and threw it into the calf. Thus did my soul suggest to me. Moses said, Get you gone, but your punishment in this life will be that you will say, Touch me not. And moreover, for a future penalty, you have a promise that will not fail. Now look at your God, of whom you have become a devoted worshipper. We will certainly melt it in a blazing fire and scatter it broadcast in the sea. But the God of you all is Allah. There is no God but He. All things He comprehends in His knowledge. Thus do we relate to you some stories of what happened before. For we have sent you a message from our own presence. If any do turn away therefrom, surely they will bear a burden on the day of judgment. They will abide in this state, and grievous will be the burden be to them on that day. The day when the trumpet will be sounded, that day we shall gather the sinful, blear-eyed with terror. In whispers will they consult each other. You tarried not longer than 10 days. We know best that they will say what they will say when their leaders most eminent in conduct will say, You tarried not longer than a day. They ask you concerning the mountains, say, My Lord will uproot them and scatter them as dust. He will leave them as plains, smooth and level. On that day will they follow the collar straight, no crookedness. We will leave them as plain, smooth and level. Nothing crooked or curved will you see in their place. On that day will they follow the collar straight. No crookedness can they show him. All sounds shall humble themselves in the presence of Allah most gracious. Nothing shall you hear but the tramp of their feet as they march. On that day shall no intercession avail except for those for whom permission has been granted by Allah most gracious and whose word is acceptable to Him. He knows what appears to his creatures as before or after or behind them, but they shall not compass it with their knowledge. All faces shall be humbled before him, the living, the self-subsisting, eternal. Hopeless indeed will be the man that carries iniquity on his back. But he who works deeds of righteousness and has faith will have no fear of harm, nor of any curtailment of what is his due. Thus have we sent this down an Arabic Quran and explained therein in detail some of the warnings in order that they may fear Allah, or that it may cause their remembrance of Him. High above all is Allah, the King, the Truth. Be not in haste with the Quran before its revelation to you is completed, but say, O my Lord, advance me in knowledge. We had already beforehand taken the covenant of Adam, but he forgot, and we found on his part no firm resolve. When he said to the angels, prostrate yourselves to Adam, they prostrated themselves, but not Iblis. He refused. Then we said, Adam, O Adam, surely this is an enemy to you and your wife. So let him not get you both out of the garden, so that you are landed in misery. There is therein enough provision for you not to go hungry, nor to go naked, nor to suffer from thirst, nor from the sun's heat. But Satan whispered evil to him. He said, O Adam, shall I lead you to the tree of eternity and to a kingdom that never decays? In the result, they both ate of the tree, and so their nakedness appeared to them. They began to sew together for their covering leaves from the garden. Thus did Adam disobey his Lord and allow himself to be seduced. But his Lord, यहाँ पे seduced का मतलब है seduced by Satan. उसके वसवसों में बहक गए आदम अलैहिस्सलाम. But his Lord chose him for his grace. He turned to him and gave him guidance. He said, get you down, both of you altogether, from the garden with enmity one to another. But if, as is sure, there comes to you guidance from me, whosoever follows my guidance will not lose his way, nor fall into misery. But whomsoever turns away from my message, surely for him is a life narrowed down, and we shall raise him up blind on the day of judgment. He will say, O my Lord, why have you raised me up blind when I had sight before? मतलब जब एक देखने वाले इंसान को बिना आंखों की बिनाई के कयामत के दिन उठाया जाएगा, तो वो कहेगा, ए अल्लाह, तूने मुझे अभी अंधा क्यों उठाया? पहले तो दुनिया में तो मेरे पास नजर थी, मैं देख सकता था. अल्लाह विल से, thus did you when our signs came to you. भाई तुम अंधे ही हो गए थे जब हमारे साइंस तुम्हारे पास आते थे. Disregard them, उनको तुम अनदेखी कर देते थे. So will you this day be disregarded. तो इसी तरह आज के दिन तुम्हें अंधा कर दिया गया और तुम्हें डिसरिगार्ड कर दिया गया. And thus do we recompense him who transgresses beyond bounds and believes not in the signs of his Lord. And the penalty of the hereafter is far more grievous and more enduring. Is it not a warning to such men to call to mind how many generations before them be destroyed, in whose haunts they now move? Surely in this are signs for men endued with understanding. Had it not been for a word that went forth before from your Lord, their punishment must necessarily have come, but there is a term appointed of respite. Therefore be patient with what they say and celebrate constantly the praises of your Lord before the rising of the sun and before its setting. Yes, celebrate them for part of the hours of the night at the sides of the day, that you may have spiritual joy. Nor strain your eyes in longing for the things we have given for enjoyment to parties of them, the splendor of the life of this world, through which we test them. But the provision of your Lord is better and more enduring. Enjoin prayer on your people and be constant therein. We ask you not to provide sustenance, we provided for you, but the fruit of the hereafter is for the righteous. They say, why does he not bring us a sign from his Lord? Has not a clear sign come to them? all of that was in the former books of Revelation? And if we had inflicted on them a penalty before this, they would have said, Our Lord, if only you had sent us a messenger, we should certainly have followed your signs before we were humbled and put to shame. Say, each one of us is waiting, wait you therefore, and soon shall you know who is it that is on the straight and even way, and who is it that has received guidance. यहाँ पे हमारी सूरह तोहा कंप्लीट हो गई है, तो हम ब्रीफली इसके कुछ टॉपिक्स को रिवाइज कर लेते हैं. इस सूरत में हज़रत मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम का वाक़या बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में आया. फ्रॉम हिज बर्थ, how his mother was guided to put him in a cask and throw him in the river, to how he was in a battle with Pharaoh, with the magicians, and how the magicians fell into prostration, how they believed him, and how they were threatened by the Pharaoh. फिर उसके बाद हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम का वाक़या आया और शैतान के बारे में हमें बताया गया कि शैतान हमें बहकाएगा, और फिर कहा गया कि हम प्रेयर को एस्टेब्लिश करें स्पेसिफिक वक्तों पर, और इन दी एंड दोबारा एक दफ़ा हमें कहा गया कि हम अल्लाह ताला से डरें, क्योंकि आखिरत का दिन जो है ना वो तो है ही नेकोकारों के लिए. और ये बात भी आई कि जो लोग इस दुनिया में साइंस को, अल्लाह ताला के साइंस को झुटला देते थे, इग्नोर कर देते थे, बिल्कुल डिसरिगार्ड कर देते थे, क़यामत के दिन वो अंधे उठाए जाएंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट वीडियो में वी विल कंटिन्यू फ्रॉम सूरह अंबिया, विच इज़ सूरत नंबर 21.